Everybody, it's Jules Chabot here, Celtic wildlife artist. It's 10 o'clock, it's Friday, it must be weekly wildlife wisdom. And today, as you can see popping over my shoulder, we are going to be exploring and learning more about Hare wisdom. And this beautiful boy behind me is my original piece called Ancient Hare Wisdom, which fits beautifully into, of course, the wisdom of the hare. And I always talk about the Celtic beliefs and traditions because my direct ancestry is Celtic. But of course, there's global tradition and belief around hares, which can be slightly different. So wherever you are in the world, morning, hi Robin, how are you doing? Hello there, hi, oh it's lovely to have you here. She says, hello Jules, just having a cuppa in bed and saw the word hare. Oh yes, my beautiful friend, she loves to paint hares like I do, but I think you do quite a few more than I do, don't you? So morning and welcome. So if you're watching from other parts of the world, and you're interested, research a bit more about what hares mean or their equivalent where you live in the world, because it's amazing how much they overlap, but they do have subtle differences as well. And I think that's partly to do with the land that they live on, who they are when they're on the land in that particular part of the world, wherever it is. And that to me is endlessly fascinating. But we're going to focus on hare wisdom today, particularly around lunar guidance, because I've spoken about hares several times before over the years, and I've always said, I must come back and talk more. And I wanted to focus on lunar guidance today, which fitted beautifully because we had a most powerful full moon last night, which was in Leo. In the Celtic tradition, the January moon is called the quiet moon, which makes total sense to me, although we did have a bit of a storm going on last night, at least early hours. I don't know if you did at all here in the UK, so it wasn't that quiet. But the moon itself in January, all about this very quiet time where there is quite a lot going on beneath the surface in terms of nature. And of course, we are part of an integral part, an equal part of nature. So there's a lot going on, and I won't go into the astrology, I'm certainly not an expert. I know there's a lot of different influences at the moment. I certainly felt it. Could you feel it last night? Robin's saying, yes, the moon here was glorious. Yeah, it was absolutely stunning here too, Robin. It's when you tune into the moon and you're aware of it, you can really learn from the hare wisdom to work with those energies and to help you to evolve and move forward. And that's what the hares really show us with their beautiful enigmatic energy and wisdom. So I just want to talk a bit more about it and get you thinking a bit more about, what does our connection to the moon actually mean, and who is she and what is she about? And if you think about the moon, I know I'll be talking to many of you that already know, but it's good to think about it, isn't it, when we remind ourselves. So the moon sends us a reflection of the sun's rays from her surface, and so we get this beautiful silvery light. And in the balance of sacred masculine and sacred feminine, the feminine energy is the silver strand and the masculine energy is the golden strand. And when they're in beautiful balance, they work together, the silver and gold thread, and it's absolutely spectacular. We are in a phase of our evolution at the moment where we are in the chaos phase, as you probably are aware. And hard as it is to accept, and I certainly have to watch myself with this, I also do believe that we go through cycles, and I know there's famous quotes about from order comes chaos and from chaos comes order. I can't tell you who said them because I can't remember, but it certainly does make sense. And so in this chaotic mode, as beings here on the planet at this time, living our lives, we are faced with a different set of challenges to perhaps the ones we would face if we were coming in at a time when there was a lot of order and calmness and peace. Whereas what we've got now is this chaotic soup of so many things going on. And we really need to be aware, growing our awareness and our development, and the moon can really help us with that. And I think that's the call I had from the hares this week. The hares at the moment, although it's a very quiet time of nature's cycles, the hares are actually reasonably active right now, and they are boxing. And that's when the females test the males by running and fighting with them to check that they are strong enough and vital enough to be the fathers of their offspring, so that they can bring forth really strong, beautiful leverets into the world, and to cultivate that energy, their energy, to run and walk their lines, their energetic lines into the land on which they live. And so it's really important for them to be doing this, but they do it very, very secretly from us humans, which is good because it means they're hopefully staying safe. But it also means it's a bit trickier for us to see them. But we don't have to see them to tune into their beautiful energy and wisdom. You can sit with a photo or a painting of a hare. You can just imagine a hare in your mind, and you can tune in and ask them to share their beautiful energy and wisdom. But it will be subtle. They're always whispers. They're never shouts. They're never altogether straightforward. You can get cryptic messages that are pictures or dreams or views. I had a very broken night's sleep last night. David and I sat by the fire last night. We said our prayers to the full moon, and the full moon's all about the opportunity for you to let go and release things that no longer serve. So we were asking and paying our respects to the beautiful moon last night, asking for help to release that which no longer serves us, that we may be resisting. And resistance in a chaotic world is very, very common, and that can cause us all sorts of difficulties. So I woke up, the storm had started raging, which we hadn't expected. It didn't last very long, thank goodness, but it was quite full on. And the full moon's energy, she was shining powerfully into our house. We don't have any street lights or artificial light, so you get this beautiful silver light. And I went through a very powerful process, which is probably why my eyes are looking a bit puffy this morning, of releasing a lot of very deep emotional layers, which was very powerful. And I was very grateful because I'd asked for that. So talk about an immediate shift. Now, I can feel that in my body, my physical body, my emotional body. I can't process it all mentally, and I don't think we're meant to, so don't try and do that when you work with these energies. Just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. The hares will show you beautifully how to stay in the moment, how to go with what is, not to resist what is, but to flow with what is and adapt and change. Robin's saying, it's also lovely to sit in the energy of hearing you speak about this stuff. Oh, thank you, Robin. And I love how nature is full of these biological behaviours and processes. It is incredible, Robin, isn't it? The beauty and the magnificence of nature is stunning. And we are, as I said, we are an integral part. We're not separate, which is what a lot of us have been taught to believe. We are integrated. In fact, there is a symbol. I've been studying Celtic symbology, which is really wonderful, learning new things and finding new things. And one of the symbols that I recently discovered is called the triquetra. And it is, they call it the three hares' ears touching. So you get one I can't draw it very well, but it's like an elliptical shape, like a hare's ear, and then two coming off either side, and they overlap in the middle. And you can sometimes have a circle around the outside of it as well. That's linked to the Celtic goddess Rhiannon, and she is connected very strongly with the moon, as are the hares. So you can see that interconnected, and that triquetra represents the power of three. Now, in the Celtic traditions, it was a sacred feminine, so it was maiden, mother, crone. In Christian traditions and other traditions, it has moved to the masculine. But in essence, if we stay with the Celtic tradition, this is about the interconnectedness of the three phases of life as we head through from being a youth to an adult, then going into our elder status. And I love that popped up recently for me, learning more about that and Rhiannon, and also this connection to the three hares touching. And I think the three hares' ears touching, sorry. And I just think that is beautiful. And I'm excited to bring that forward into my new art that I'm going to be starting. Well, I am starting, I'm sort of developing it in January style. It's inside at the moment and it's coming together, and I will keep you updated of that as I progress on my art journey with these beautiful Celtic symbols. Morning, Helen. I always feel more energy leading up to the full moon, Helen says. Once the full moon has peaked, I feel tired. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Definitely seems to be the more you are receiving that beautiful reflection of the moonlight, the more energy she can give to us. But then at the point of the peak of the full moon, we then start to wax away. I think that's right. I always get them mixed up, waxing and waning. I think it's waning, actually, sorry. It starts to wane, and then that's why the energy then starts. And it's a beautiful, lovely flow of energy, which is what nature's always about, cycles. And when we can align with those cycles, learn about them, learn about ourselves, feel into what we're feeling, as Helen's beautifully described there, then the more we can utilise that knowing, that kenning, as the Celts would say, the knowing of nature and our nature, and align with it. It's that beautiful alignment that helps us to move forward in our lives, to overcome difficulties, to start and embark on new ventures. So, when we start with a new venture, it's good to do that at the new moon, when it's dark, when we would in nature plant a seed into the dark soil, and then we nurture that seed until it eventually comes through, and at the full moon it actually peaks. So the hare, for example, will give birth to a leveret or several leverets, the mother, and then the leveret will be with the hare for 28 days. So it's one lunar cycle. It's not an accident. And also female cycles are generally around that 28-day cycle as well. The moon governs the water bodies of the earth, and of course we are at least 80% water, so we are governed too. So if you've sort of forgotten that or lost touch, or you sort of just think, oh, it's just something in my head or old wives' tales, know that that's not actually truth, because these knowings, this kenning, is the world over with Indigenous peoples. It's not an accident. Unfortunately, modern lifestyles and beliefs and cultures try to move us away from that. Busy, busy, busy all the time. No time for sleep, no time to stop, no time to relax. Always having to be productive. And in nature, that isn't the way. And that's when we can find ourselves out of balance and finding that we have difficulties with energy and productivity and all those things when we don't honour them. So for me, the message from the hares is so powerful and beautiful, and that is to honour nature's cycles, to honour our cycles. Jenny's saying, I love the three hares, beautiful symbol. Yeah, it really is. It's very special, and And yeah, it really sums up that sense of interconnectedness. And it's also about infinity. Everything continues. You know, life, death, life. You'll hear me speaking about that a lot. It's revered, honoured, respected. It's not feared in the ancient traditions. It's all part of the next chapter's unfolding. Ian, hi Ian, lovely to have you here. I spend a lot of time with hares, taking images, love them. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I know they are incredibly beautiful beings, aren't they? And I hope with the image of ancient hare wisdom you can tune in with him as well. So thank you, Ian, that's wonderful. So I think that's probably all I'm going to go into today. Lots to sort of just absorb and think about and notice the moon connection. And I love seeing hare photographs when there's the moon present as well. So maybe there's a challenge for you there, Ian. And those of you that take photographs of these beautiful beings, I love following Instagram and Facebook peoples that are taking photos of hares. They're absolutely stunning. So have a ponder, talk in your mind to the hares, connect that with the moon, just ask for that assistance and help. Listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, not the chatterbox noisy part, but the deep part when you're very still and quiet. Ian says it's full moon, so challenge on. Yeah, lovely. I'd love to see that if you do manage to capture that. Moon's energy will be very powerful today and tomorrow as well as yesterday. So you've got a window there where it's at its peak. And, you know, I love to see the hares moon gazing, if you've seen that as well. And I just know that there's so much more that these beings know in their bones, in their souls, than we are able to remember and grasp. And that's the way it's meant to be, and that's the magic for me of wildlife and all of nature. So there you are. I'm going to draw things to a close. I will, fingers crossed, all being well, be back here next Friday. I am going to be doing my weekly wildlife wisdom slightly later next Friday because I have an appointment at 10 next week. So it'll be 2 p.m. on the 2nd of February, so it's all the twos, 2-2 at 2 p.m. UK time. Don't know who it will be, but I will let you know before Friday with a reminder on my stories and posts as usual. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely having you all here, and thank you for all your lovely comments and support. It means the world. One last final thing. I have got an amazing January saver on until the end of January. So if you head over to my website at juleschabot.com and read my latest blog, it'll tell you all about how you can get 24% off everything on my website, including ancient hare wisdom, if you've taken a fancy to him. So take a look at that. Sending you lots of love, lots of beautiful full moon energy to you all, and I will see you next week. Take care. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Bye.